To risk sounding poetic about it, much of this part of Essex seems to belong to the sea. Foulness left, Maplin Sands right. Miles and miles of dikes and sea walls. Where they disappear, man seems to lose his grip on the coast altogether.
Some people think the Thames used to flow out here. If it did, what happened when the Ice Age pushed great sheets of ice right down to where North London is now? Well, Father Thames got evicted south to his present estuary.
Will Hay, Stanley Holloway, Roy Hudd, Tony Hancock, they all started off on Clacton Pier.
A short distance, but a far cry from the hallowed greensward of gracious Frinton-on-Sea. On towards Walton-on-the-Naze and 5,000 watery acres of the National Nature Reserve of Hamford Water. Dovercourt, where Heidi High was filmed, and we're over Harwich, East Anglia's gateway to the continent. Across the Orwell to Felixstowe. In the 50s, the dock was derelict. Now it's the biggest container port in the country. We're over Suffolk now, and heading for a coastal feature that shows just what can happen when the sea takes issue with a river.
Orford Ness. The mouth of the river's been pushed south 18 miles by all the stones washed by the sea from places like Dunwich, further up the coast.
Aldeburgh, home of the music festival, started up by Ben from Britain. You see, he lived here.
Sizewell's nuclear power station, cheek by jowl with the RSPB's bird sanctuary at Minsmere towards Dunwich.
Dunwich? Oh dear, oh dear. In the 12th century, we had 13 churches here, 2 monasteries and half the population of London. Now the sea's swallowed the lot. The last church disappeared over the edge in 1919, and they do say on a stormy night you can hear the bells clanging away out under the sea.
Kessingland holiday camps and north to Lowestoft.
Most easterly point in Britain, renowned for its fish, but many of them get caught by fishermen in villages to the south and sold in Lowestoft Fish Market. A lot of Lowestoft trawlers make a sight more money as standby vessels for oil and gas rigs.
And we fly over the county boundary into Norfolk.
Straight across the seaside razzmatazz of Yarmouth.
As I rode down to Yarmouth, and the birds they sang good day, and the birds they sang good day. Oh, I spied a maid with golden hair, walking along my way. A tidy little maid so trim and fair, and the birds they sang good day, and the birds they sang good day.
Up here in Norfolk, you're getting a different effect of the Ice Age. Last ice sheet bulldozed from Norway right across the seabed. Then when the ice melted, that left all the muck along the coast, what they call boulder clay.
Here at Mundersley is an amazing variety of Ice Age fossil mammals. Some are Arctic, but others are tropical, like hippopotamus, which lived in a tributary of the Rhine. And fossil whales were stranded on an ancient shoreline here. Cromer lies on one of the thickest bands of chalk in the world, at least 1,500 feet thick. A little further on, it's rimmed with more recent deposits.
Like the finest salt marshes in Europe, all laid down since Roman times. Now the coast of East Anglia doesn't seem to care whether it's land or sea. Now we're past Hunstanton and its rush of caravanitis, and we're into the Wash, a region of haunting atmosphere. Gat sand, thief sand, bulldog sand, Pandora's sand, stubborn sand. Out of the Wash and northward to Skegness.
I know, where the air is so bracing. Someone unkindly said that's because there's nothing much east of here till you get to the Urals in Russia. Can't be too bad, though. There's an enormous holiday camp, thousands of caravans. Nottingham by the Sea, we call it.
Lincolnshire, and the whole coast's on the move for the next 100 miles.
Oh, when I was bound apprentice in famous Lincolnshire, 'twas well I served me master for nigh on 7 years, till I took up to poaching, as you shall quickly hear. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining night and the season of the year. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining night and the season of the year. As me and my companions was a setting of a snare, 'twas then we spied the gamekeeper, for him we didn't care. For we can wrestle and fight, me boys, and jump from anywhere. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining night and the season of the year. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining night and the season of the year. As me and my companions were setting for a fight, and taking him on up again, we caught a hare alive. We caught a hare alive, me boys, and through the woods did steer. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining light in the season of the year. Oh, 'tis my delight in the shining light in the season of the year.
Shoreline used to be back here on the raised edge of the chalk walls, and the Humber was a short, stubby river. But the melting ice sheets left all this clay behind, and the Humber had twice as far to go. You can see the King halfway up the estuary, and on the river mouth's top lip,
Spurn Head, like a long piece of cigarette ash dangling down over the mouth of the river. Where'd it come from? From Hotton, Northall, Dunlington, Monkwick, and a score of other villages on this 30-mile stretch that have disappeared into the sea.
This part of Yorkshire we call the Holderness, and it's not holding very well. Look out for the triangular fields that were once square, and all the roads lead straight out to sea. Except for places like Withensea, where they've built sea walls, the pounding waves are carving up to 10 feet a year back into the defenceless clay.
The stretch of coast with most to fear lies a little further north on the Holderness. The tiny village of Mapleton is literally teetering on the brink.
My father-in-law took over this garage business 25 years ago in Mapleton. He's built it up from absolutely nothing. If the council or the government do absolutely nothing about this coastal erosion, the garage, the business will go over the cliff and we will get absolutely nothing from anybody.
And look, it's not until we're nearly up to Flamborough Head that the chalk rises from beneath the waves to rescue all this stretch of coast from oblivion.
On past the once bustling Butlins to the most curious feature on the Yorkshire coast, Filey Brig, a red sandstone platform jutting far out into the sea.
Flying up this coast is just like flying back in time. The rocks get older and older as erosion has peeled off deeper and deeper layers.
And here we have the magnificent South Bay of Scarborough with the castle standing behind it, Norman Castle on the headland, and then we come into the North Bay of Scarborough. Scarborough is a magnificent place to live. Not only do we have all the facilities the holidaymakers have, we also don't have to go home at the end of the season. The season is very short here, anything up to 12 weeks, and because of that, unemployment in Scarborough can be very high during the winter months.
All the brochures call this the Gold Coast, Robin Hood's Bay and across to Whitby.
Well, you don't find gold here, but there's Whitby jet, and the Victorians used this for jewellery. The Synod of Whitby in 664 fixed the date for Easter. The abbey was formed by St Hilda in 657, and a herdsman, Caedmon, wrote the first dramatic poetry about the Gospels in the English language. Captain Cook's ships were also built here.
Picturesque staiths, Viking for landing place. Along the top of these cliffs runs the ancient Cleveland Way. So we're heading for a new county that's recently become sadly notorious. Cleveland means the land of cliffs. And on towards the industrial complexes of Teesside.
Jackie works at the shipyard, and we've the bairns so grand, and times is better than the war, for we've got cash in hand. Aye, we've got cash in hand.
Over Teesmouth to Hartlepool.
15 years ago, our port was bang in the middle of a slump, and there was a lot of unemployment. Now Tees and Hartlepool ports handle over 33 million tonnes of cargo a year. It's far more than better known ports like Southampton or Liverpool.